Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Jerusalem's Gate. Well, we're all sitting on pins and needles waiting for the full brunt of the attack, pending attack against Idlib by the Syrian, Russian, and I guess you can throw in Iran forces. I got some things I wanted to show you, and I think it's you need to know this about what's happening in Idlib and Idlib region. One article caught my eye coming out of Reuters, and we'll cover this first, and then I got a few videos to show you. The last video that is showing is a short video, and that's of some Russian bombing in the Idlib region. And you know, it's whoever says that there's no civilians in the Idlib region. That's not correct, because there are civilians in the Idlib region, and they're bunkering down and expecting the worst. And you know, my heart goes out to them. Let's start off with the Reuters report. The title reads, "Party cups as gas masks. Idlib civilians prepare for battle." Idlib, and please forgive me if I mispronounce his name. I'm ashamed. I am so bad with foreign names. Hadhafa Al-Shahad strapped a colorful paper cup filled with cotton and charcoal to a child's face and tightened a plastic bag around his head, an improvised gas mask if chemicals once again fall on Syria's Idlib. Civilians in Syria's last major stronghold of active opposition to President Bashar al-Assad's rule are preparing food and digging shelter ahead of an expected army offensive. They're also putting their faith in the neighboring Turkey's diplomacy to spare them from military action, which would become a humanitarian disaster. I tell you, President Trump hit the nail on the head, and when he said if there's a full-out assault on Idlib, it would be in the Idlib region, it would be a humanitarian crisis. I got some videos to show you, and the first video is from Reuters. I've been having trouble getting these videos out for some reason, and there's a couple of videos of following this. The last video is bombing by Russian and Syrian forces. I believe it's Russian. Syrian forces. I know it's Russian forces that's bombing the Idlib region. Let's play this video first. Let's get it going here. Here we go.
A paper cup, charcoal, and cotton. This father in Idlib improvising a gas mask for his children. Like other residents, he's bracing for an expected assault on the city by forces loyal to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Idlib now the last rebel-held region in the country.
I'm creating protective masks for my children and the children in the area because we're scared of a future chemical attack. Russia are claiming that terrorists are behind the attacks, but all the world knows that Russia and Bashar are going to hit us with chemical weapons. We're preparing for this.
Idlib came under fresh bombardment this week by government forces and Russian airstrikes. That could be the prelude to an all-out offensive. Some civilians now preparing shelters and stockpiling food.
We built this cave 5 years ago because we have children who feel scared when they hear the sounds of planes and bombs. Houses cannot protect us from a bomb or from an airstrike, so we go down here and we tell them that safety comes from God.
Idlib and surrounding areas have endured years of airstrikes that have killed thousands of civilians. More than half the area's 3 million inhabitants are displaced people who have fled their homes. Now many hope Turkey will intervene with Russia to prevent the offensive. Their fate could be decided on Friday, when Assad's supporters Russia and Iran will meet with Turkey.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, and here comes the other two additional videos.
The situation is very tense, as you can imagine. The shelling has intensified in the past 48 hours, although interestingly, in the past 24 hours, it has been calmer than what it was the day before. We're not sure why. Probably everyone is waiting for the big summit on Friday. But a very tense situation. Civilians are quite scared. Let's not forget that about half the population of Idlib is made of internally displaced people. These people have experienced what displacement means and have experienced carpet bombing before, whether in eastern Ghouta or Daraa or eastern Aleppo. So they know what to expect pretty much and how intense it can be once it starts.
Well, that's the point here, isn't it? That those almost 3 million people in Idlib, many of them already displaced. Where do they go now? This is the last rebel stronghold.
Well, that's a very good question, and there is no good answer to that question, unfortunately. The Turks have made it very clear that they will not open the border. One option would be for some of them to go to the Euphrates Shield area, which is the northeastern part of Aleppo province that was liberated from Daesh with the help of the Turkish forces. So one option would be that, but that would require, obviously, a Turkish authorization for people to move there. The other option would be for people to go to areas currently under control of the regime, but that would be mainly for people who have no security risk in going to these areas, which is very minimal when it comes to Idlib. I mean, Idlib is, as you very well said, the last stronghold of the Syrian opposition. And it's the area where most of the people who are opposing Bashar al-Assad have been amassed from other areas of Syria. So unfortunately, we can be looking at a human carnage should there be an onslaught on Idlib.
And of course, the UN envoy to Syria has said he is trying to establish a humanitarian corridor, but of course, it remains to be seen where that would be. And you've highlighted the problems of establishing that. Thank you very much, Assad Al-Atshi, who is the executive director of the charity group Baitna Syria.